Welcome to Doing Justice Brings Joy, the podcast rooted in the word, the witness, and the world we're organizing to change. We break down the policies, the structures, and the stakes behind the fights for housing, dignity, and freedom, tracing the line from scripture to strategy, from community demands to the decisions made in City Hall and beyond. Because justice is a discipline, joy is a mandate, and none of this work is done alone. And the story isn't finished until justice speaks. And we stay on it until the evidence is heard.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Doing Justice Brings Joy. And I am happy to have with me today my guest, Vanessa Evans, who is the president of the Bragtown Community Association in Durham, North Carolina. Last week I went on a rant about efforts to push back on Route 9 and Route 4, and I invited Vanessa to talk with us today. Forgive me, I'm at a conference, but this is so important that I'm with you all today. So, Vanessa, welcome. And thank you for taking out your time to come and talk to us about all that we've been through trying to get the 15-minute service and nighttime service on Route 4 and Route 9. And update us on what your understanding is about what's going on right now.
Good day, everyone. I'm Vanessa Mason Evans, as Stella said, the chair of the Bragtown Community Association, and we have been working on this for about 5 years now. And we had many people speaking against us not getting funded. And in our work, we were able to go out within the communities of Route 9 and 4 to speak with people on the buses to get their opinion of what they needed and wanted to see happening in the changes of what's going on right now. The buses were not really serving the people at the time frame that they needed. People were saying they needed the buses to run at 15 minutes. The buses on Route 9 at one time was running every hour.
Right.
And we were able to get them down to 30 minutes, but even at 30 minutes, a lot of people were still being late for work or appointments. And with COVID during that time, it was really pushing a lot of people out of work because the bus would only pick up a certain number of people. So people were losing jobs during that time, as well as when they changed it over and we get free services. But the thing is, you need better timing with the buses. And with the buses also, we have a lot of development going on in Bragtown. So if you have more people that's needing bus service, because what they're saying, they want to make walkable cities. Walkable cities need to have buses that can take people where they need to go. So if people can't get to the places they need to get to, how can you call a place a walkable city when you don't have buses that's running on a great timeline for people to make their
sidewalks?
Or sidewalks. Because in my community, we're walking on goat paths. That's another thing that's a safety issue, along with even having enough crosswalks or safety lights so that people can push to be able to cross the streets. And when you have I call it a side street, that's causing you to have more traffic and people are speeding, you're having more people getting hit either on bikes or just walking. So our concerns were making sure that the buses could get people to where they needed to go. Yes. We had organizations working with us. We also were at the bus terminal getting people's information, surveys. We did this at our Juneteenth event, and we did all this work, and everything was done in the proper way. And the city and the county was speaking that they would make sure we got funded. So I guess the thing that's getting me is how is another community able to come in over Bragtown now to get the services that we were supposed to get? Because from my understanding, Holloway and Duke are getting these areas done when we're not getting ours until 2027 and 2028. And it's still not the time frame.
Yeah, we were supposed to get our services this year, this summer. And
Yes.
we were supposed to get the 15-minute. I want people to understand, though, we were supposed to get 15-minute service this year, along with Sunday service as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been promised this. I can't even tell you how much work Vanessa has done, how many sleepless nights, how she has literally crawled in ditches to illustrate the dangers that were on Route 9. All the work that was done in partnership with Walltown on Route 4. And we brought in people from all over the city to support the work on Route 9, and to get that promise, and to be promised that we were finally, everything is funded. We found out from the county commissioners, they don't know what's going on. They were like, the money is there. The money is there. And for the city, after all this time, to defer and delay so that Duke and Holloway Street can get money, they weren't even in the plan at all. Am I right, Vanessa?
You're so correct. So correct. And it's like being stabbed in the chest with a knife. Communities get tired of being lied to. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a lot of reasons why you don't see a lot of people trying to come into meetings to voice their opinions, because they feel like no matter what they say, the upper people are going to do what they want to do, and they're going to use the money how they want. It's just like they also said this money was supposed to be on a bond. We got 2 bonds in Durham that people are paying taxes on, and both of them have failed all the way through. You don't have your the rail trail that's supposed to be coming through with the train. You've taken out this part of the monies that we were supposed to be getting. Now, where's all this money going? That, it's questionable of like, why do you say, and we've been called NIMBYs? I'm not a NIMBY, number one. Right. I'm a person who cares about the people of my community, and not just my community, but every community of Durham. Every community in Durham should be treated fairly in the things that they're needed. No 2 communities are the same, but there are some similarities that we need to be fixed now and not 10 years from now. Why is it you take money from communities that are underserved when you've promised it to them, and then you give it to a community that's got money? Duke got more money than all of us. Okay. So I'm trying to figure out what is the reasoning for doing this, knowing they had already promised it to us. Yes, it's very disturbing. I'm trying to figure out, and I pay my tax dollars, and
here's what, when you mention the bond, here's what frustrates me about that. You can go right now to the City of Durham's YouTube channel and type in Route 9, and the bond, the commercial they use to convince people. You can go to CBS 17's archives. The route they used to convince people that we needed that bond was Route 9. They took people on a ride. They took city officials and county officials and federal officials on a bus ride that was on. You don't believe me? Go to CBS 17's archive, put Route 9, Durham bus Route 9 in, and it will pop up. And they used Route 9. They used Bragtown to convince people to pay for the bond. And now when it's Bragtown's turn to use the money and fix the streets and fix the sidewalks and make a 15-minute route, they want to give it to Duke. And by the way, people, Duke is the reason we don't have a light rail system, that they made us wait 11 years, saying the buses couldn't be fixed until the light rail got done. Then they waited till the last week before the federal money had to be signed to cancel it. That was $173 million. I went over the money last week. Only $4 million a year during that period was available for the entire bus system. Route 9 and Route 4 have been delayed and denied and delayed and denied. And finally, we fought back. We went to so many meetings at so many places, and we were told, oh no, it's not the city, it's the county. Oh no, it's not the county, it's Go Triangle. Oh no, it's not Go Triangle, it's the MTPO. We were like, and they all had public hearings and they all had public comments, and none of it was unified. I think one of the things that we did for the entire community, and you have to give Vanessa credit for this, is now where there are like multiple jurisdictions that have to play a role in a decision. Now they have the public comment periods are open at the same time or available, and that public engagement process has cleaned up as a result of the frustration of every week going to a different place. And now when it's time to bear fruit, we done planted the tree. The harvest is about to happen, and you're saying, oh no, this fruit has to go to Duke first. If there's any left, we'll give you some next year. That's crazy.
I feel once again we've been bamboozled and hoodwinked, as we've been done so many times before.
Talk a little bit about the history of Bragtown. Many people may not know the significance of Bragtown and how important that community is, and how important it is for us to keep it current so that residents can stay.
First, I want to say this. As we speak right now, right, 3 houses from me on Thelma Street, they just put in the sidewalks and they put the ramps in. They're over there turning them up again. They're turning both sides of the street. I don't know why.
Wait a minute.
I didn't get a notice. They're turning this. What little sidewalks we do have on Dearborn, so people will understand. We only have sidewalks on half of Dearborn. It's not even the full Dearborn. The sidewalks go from Old Oxford Highway and come down Dearborn to the library. So right before you get to the library, they'll turn the sidewalks up on both sides. Why? I don't know. So these are the things I'm saying. Repetitive stuff when they say they don't have money, but yet you still going back into certain areas and you redoing sidewalks over and over and over again. None of this
because you didn't put the infrastructure in first. You didn't fix the pipes. You didn't lay the cable. You didn't do the infrastructure pieces before you put the sidewalks in. Perpetually feeding the contractors without serving the people. It's so frustrating.
Yes. So to give you a little background of Bragtown, Bragtown is a beautiful space to live. I've heard so many people say they've been told don't move to Durham. This was in the past. Raleigh was good for telling people don't move to Durham because it's a lot of crime or a lot of people getting killed. Well, I feel that's anywhere you go. It's depending on you and the community you live in and how you treat your community. I feel as a child growing up in Bragtown and an adult, I feel this was a beautiful space because it was a space where when there was white people living in this part of Bragtown, which is always underserved, white flight took place. So when white flight took place, more Black people moved into the community. You had more families who were generational families that were staying
Mm-hmm.
within the community. So you had a lot of family and friends and people knew each other. You could sit on your front porch. You could invite someone over and have tea or lemonade with you and just have a good conversation, or even invite them into your home. That's not how things are now. But to go further back, Stagville Plantation is the largest plantation in North Carolina. The Camerons, the Benninghams, the Dukes. When I say these names, these are all the people who were involved, and the Camerons. I mean, I can go on and on of the people who were slave holders. They might tell you they won't, but they were, because I am a descendant of slaves, and my people come from Chapel Hill, and I can go back to the 1800s on both sides of my family, my mother's and my father's, and I am a descendant of slaves. Now, Stagville being the largest plantation in North Carolina, when the emancipation happened, those people that were freed walked through the woods, down through trails, as well as the railroad track that was maybe not, it was in place, I believe, at a certain point in time. But they walked down those areas coming into Bragtown, and not just Bragtown, but Bragtown being the first space of freedom. A lot of people settled here. Mm-hmm. And then they went on out into other areas of Durham and started other beautiful Black communities. So every community to me in Durham is a connection to either Stagville or Chapel Hill. Wherever there was a plantation at, we are all a part of that in some sort of way. Mm-hmm. So when people moved here to Bragtown, you had a lot of Black families who were homeowners. They were not renters.
That's right.
So when you had a lot of homeowners, people who were raising their children to go to school, we were being taught in the Black schools about our culture, who we were, mm-hmm. and to be proud of who we were. Mm-hmm. And when that whole change came about, things changed totally for all of us. Mm-hmm. And Bragtown is a space where you had white people on one side of the street, which was, if you split Roxborough Road in half, mm-hmm. on the left-hand side was the white community. On the right-hand side was the Black community. And the Black community was always underserved. We always got the bottom of the bowl, and we still getting the bottom of the bowl even to this day. Don't promise us stuff and then turn around and take it back from us. You get tired of, fighting for things that are rightfully ours. Like I was saying.
Wait, say that again. Rightfully ours. Say that for me.
It is very much rightfully ours. Mm-hmm. And I feel y'all need to understand, you have people coming to Durham who don't know the whole factors of Durham. They think they mm-hmm. know and don't mm-hmm. know. And what they're moving into, I want y'all to know, you're not getting a real house. You're getting a pressed wood house. Houses are not supposed to be built out of pressed wood. You're supposed to build them out of real wood. Okay? So what you're getting, you're paying that $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, and $1 million for, you're paying for something that's just a facade. And Durham is just trying to bring more people in here to bring money into the city for themselves, not to help the communities. And I'm not against no one moving here. It's a space for everybody. But also remember the people who were here before, the people who are coming here. There are people who love their communities and want to stay where they're at. I want to stay in Durham. I've been here all my life, and there's no other place I would rather be. I've traveled many places, but Durham is where I want to be. Durham is where I plan on staying. My children want to stay in Durham, but we don't want to be pushed out because of all this economical capitalism and all these things that are hurting and harming so many people. You have so many homeless people now living in Bragtown alone that it's unreal. Mm-hmm. And we have got to change the way we are doing things. Our mayor says he wants to make things better and he wants to keep people here. That should have been happening all from the beginning anyway. It should have never been a thing where people begin getting displaced and pushed out of their homes.
And Vanessa, people come to Durham because of Durhamites, because of us and our history and our background. But when they come here, they want to change it to where they came from instead of embracing the Durham that we grew up in. I want to share with you and the public and get your point of view about, because I know you've done a lot of work in this space. The bus system and the need for the bus system to be running 15 minutes and on time is even more critical now And I talked 2 weeks ago about the one big beautiful bill and the administrative changes that are going to be hurting our cities, our counties, and the recipients. One of those is the work requirement to get Medicaid and to get SNAP food benefits and to get other housing vouchers. Now you have to, in order to qualify for those benefits, if you are 65 years or younger, 18 to 65, you are expected to work 40 hours a week. One, that's an impossibility in a 30-hour work week environment.
Yes.
Very few employers are employing people 40 hours a week, which means you got to have at least 2 part-time jobs. The type of work requirements are not in line with reality in general, but they're also not in line with this policy that the city is about to do. You got the people in Bragtown and in Walltown, they have to use the bus to get to work. And if you are getting Medicaid or SNAP benefits or even housing vouchers, the folks at Oxford Manor, the folks in Bluefield, if you can't get to work on time, you're going to lose those jobs, but now you're going to lose your benefits. Now, missing the bus can mean being homeless. Now, missing the bus can mean that your children can't get food stamps. I mean, this is so outrageous. At the time when this community needs the buses to serve on time and the bus routes to be 15 minutes or less, Duke doesn't have this same problem.
No, they don't, and they never will, because they have the money, they have the capital. And when you're having your students to move into communities where I feel like all the students really need to be living on campus, that's taking up housing from people who could have a house within a community. So Duke needs to do a better job, I'm not afraid to say it, at being accountable for their students and the people that
and for their employees.
Yes, and really making it where their employees are making a true living wage, not $15, not $20. They're even making $30, $45 an hour. They got the money. They just choose not to give it. Because in the work that I was doing with DataWorks 3 years ago, they were saying at that time, a person who's coming out of high school should be making $35 to $45 an hour. That means if you're coming out of college, you should be making 50 and above.
In order to live at the median income in Durham.
Yes.
That's just to be able to afford the average apartment, the average food, the average costs. And it's just ridiculous. Most of our teachers and firefighters, they're at 60% or below median income. They're considered very low income, not low income, very low income by the federal government.
No police officer should be making $16 an hour. No police
Say it again.
No police officer should be making $16 an hour. Not even $20 an hour. These are people who are putting their life on the line for us. So,
and we got firefighters that are barely making $15 an hour, which is what we're fighting for. I was at a city council meeting, and there were firemen making $14.75 an hour, And I was there fighting for 15 for food service workers at Hardee's. Our firefighters are not making as much money as a food handler at Hardee's. Come on.
And these are the people who go into the fires. These are the people who go into the
to save us.
Save us. And I'm like, what is
I will say that we did do right by them, and we've got them on a better pay scale. But I don't think it's not a pay scale where my son, who's a firefighter, my son-in-law, who's a firefighter in Colorado, he would take a 2/3 pay cut, to come to Durham. That's why my daughter is living in Colorado. That's why I can't see my grandbaby, because we are not paying people what they need to be. And then on top of that, we're not providing transportation in a manner. We keep giving to the rich and taking from the poor in our public policy. But Vanessa, it's a new city manager, so he don't really know us. There's a new county manager. She don't really know us. We might have to, put them tennies back on, get out here in these streets. They don't know. They don't remember all the stuff we did, how we went and laid on that railroad line in your neighborhood and took pictures of us laying it on the line with Route 9. They don't remember how we organized all of the white missionaries and from the various denominations to ride on Route 9 bus all day and take petitions. We had, I don't know how many congregations that were actively walking and petitioning the neighborhood. We brought together, and then the people in the neighborhood, all the people who were riding the buses, all of them, we had over 300 written petitions. Surveys from bus riders on Route 9 telling their own story on a survey that was open-ended, so they could tell their story that we delivered. They're not ready to play with us.
It's not like their surveys. Yeah, and it's not like their surveys. Their surveys are never open-ended.
No,
their questions are fitted for you to end up approving something that they want you to approve.
Right. There's a very structured to make you say yes to what they want you to do. But ours was very open-ended, like, how often do you ride the bus, and why do you ride the bus? What are the problems you have with the bus service? What would you like to see improved? And then let folks fill it out. And for folks who were uncomfortable reading, we had those missionaries who filled out they dictated and they filled them out for them. And the person signed it. But we did all that. And for I guess the one thing we got, and I guess they think we ought to be grateful for it and be quiet and shut up, is we got free fares.
No.
But
free fares
that doesn't pay. A free fare to nowhere is meaningless. If you can't get on that bus and get to your job on time, if you can't get to the now that people have to recertify every 6 months, if you can't get on that bus and get to your research meeting on time, and you lose your benefits, you lose your housing.
I don't know what to call this. It's just it's damaging to our
your Medicaid.
Yeah.
You-
I'm just baffled. I'm baffled to know that, we have a government that don't see people as humans, and want to play games with our lives. That's what they're doing. They're playing games with our lives. And I'm not just talking about people who are on welfare. I'm talking about just people in general who work, essential workers, people who work hard, to have what they have for their families. You go to work, you try to spend time with your family, you try to spend time with, your neighbors or whomever when you can, and to have a system that's cutting us down more and more each day, and putting more stipulations on us. When will it end? When will it end? When will people be truly treated fairly? They just want to go to work. They just want to get to their doctor's appointments or their dentist appointment, or go to their children's recital, but have to catch the bus. There's so many things that people catch the bus for, for their entertainment. And we need more spaces where people can have entertainment other than just downtown Durham. That's one of the complaints I hear a lot, that, most of the stuff that they have is not made for us people of color or Hispanics, Latinos. You don't see a lot of us downtown. Yeah, there was a space at one point in time where, Durham thrived because of Black people.
That's right.
But now it's like the tables have flipped and changed. And I Durham is a place that was so unique, so different from other cities and counties or states that I had been in, knowing that we came from so far, but yet we have people who are trying to push us back into the 50s and the 60s. And I'm not going there. That might be what they take us, but if we have the right people fighting with us, as we've had in the past, I'm hoping if we have to get a whole nother slew of people to go back out here and get this stuff done again. And I want it now. I don't want it next year. I don't want it in 2028. We were supposed to get it, like you said, this year. We're hitting summer now, but yet you've taken our funding and you've given it to someone else. Don't try to appease me with little stuff. Little stuff is not going to get my community what they need. We have people whose taxes have gone up, and when is all this stuff going to stop? It needs to be a place where people can feel comfortable living wherever they stay. And I hate to say it, for the people who are moving here, they don't see the whole story. They might see something totally different. They might have a different agenda. I don't know. But my thing is, Durham was a space that was built for everybody to live in. And when you get a lot of newcomers or people who want to change the aspects of what Durham was or could be, that to me, it don't sit well, because Durham should be a place for everybody.
That's right.
Not just for the rich or the have and the have-nots, is what I would say.
That's right. That's right.
I hope that we can be better neighbors, whomever it is that's coming here. I love everybody. I have nothing against anyone. I want to see Durham be a place for everybody who wants to live in Durham, spaces for everybody to go to be able to enjoy their entertainment, their eating, their jobs, because we got to work. I know this AI stuff is, a lot is going to be happening with that too. But, it's not going to take jobs just from us as Black, brown, and indigenous people. It's going to take white collar jobs too. So we really need to think, do y'all want AI centers? Do y'all want to keep building all these $1 million homes and $500,000 homes and not have space for people to live? Everybody's not rich. And God didn't intend it to be that way. Because if that's what you're thinking, you're wrong. And it tells you in the Bible, the rich shall become poor and the poor shall become rich. So y'all keep getting rich. Our day is coming, whether you want to see it or not. That's the way I see it.
I hear often on right-leaning media that the Bible says the poor will always be with us, but they forget. And so they feel like, since people are going to be poor anyway, why do we need to bother? The poor will always be with us, right? But then they ignore the ton of Bible verses, not once, not twice, the ton of Bible verses that say that we are to protect the widow, the orphan, and the foreigner.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew says, when I was hungry, did you feed me? When I needed shelter, did you let me in?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, when you do this to the least of these, you have done it to me. I strongly question how the rich, and what does it say about the rich? It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to get to heaven. Am I wrong?
You're very right. It's in the word. The word
It's in
says
the
it.
word.
So if they want to keep playing games with people and God's children, I feel it's coming sooner than they think.
Mm-hmm.
You can't play God. There's only one God.
No,
I don't care
only
what nobody
one.
says. There's only one. So if you want to play God, I welcome you to it. And I would like to see how it turns out in the end. Wish no bad on nobody. I'm about blessing and wanting to help others. But when I see you steadily just taking and taking and taking from those who are the lesser, I'm just praying that God will open your eyes and make you see
That's
before it's
right.
too late.
That's right.
I mean, this has been going on for years. This isn't just me.
Yes.
It happened
No.
with my great grandparents, my grandparents, my parents. Now me and my children are going to have to deal with the same, crap into the future if we don't learn to get along, if we don't learn to make a balancing act out of the things that's going on in the world. And it's not just here in Durham. This is everywhere, especially where development is happening.
Mm-hmm.
They want to buy up the land and then you just be a renter. Well, everybody don't want to be a renter. There are some people who want to own what they have. And
I do want to say this about the Bragtown, Stagville area. It has the highest Black home ownership rate in the county at over 60%. In some census tracts, it's as high as 75%, which is way above other communities in terms of home ownership. But what I have observed is every year that number is dropping.
mm-hmm.
It's dropping.
It's turning into renters because what you
Mm-hmm.
have is you have these big time developers and people, landlords who are selling out and giving their properties or whatever to someone who gives them a better bid or a better
Mm-hmm.
price. And when this new person comes in, they're not caring about who was here, or
Yeah.
the only thing they want to do is get their pockets fat. And if we had more people with compassion and empathy and sympathy, this world would be a better place. But as long as we have greed and capitalism, ruining not just Black and brown and indigenous communities, but y'all are ruining your own white communities.
Come on.
And white people are seeing it. They're like, come on. I've been here all my life, and now they're feeling the brunt of what we've been feeling all our life.
Mm-hmm.
And no one should have to feel this way. No one. I hoped that Durham would grow into a better flourishing space for everybody, and that's including
Mm-hmm.
the ones who don't have. Because you're gonna have poor no matter what. And I promise you, no matter how much money you have, you can't buy your way into heaven. You can buy your way into hell. You can't have it. So
Yeah.
hey, make it your choice. That's how I see it. And when we have leaders that are not listening to the residents who put them in their seats, they need to understand it don't take but 3,000 votes per council person to be taken out of your seat. If people see you not doing the work you need to be doing for the community, residents of Durham need to get together and vote certain people out. If you don't vote them out, guess what? It's going to continually be what it is. When we learn to stop letting the big horn people control everything,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to always be in this predicament of where we're at. When people don't respect each other as human beings, we're never going to change. We're going to always be in this chaos of, like I said before, the have and the have-nots. And it should never be that way.
That's right. I want to welcome to the broadcast our producer, Mark Lee. Um, Vanessa Evans is our guest today. We're talking, I know you're not even going to believe this, but we're talking about them delaying the bus improvements on Route 9 and
Mm.
Route 4. Once again, we're having to fight to keep Walltown and Bragtown connected to the city. We I know we had this big thing earlier in the year or last year about what was going on in Hayti,
Yes.
and now the city is trying to take money away from Route 9 and Route 4 to
That's it.
fund an unfunded project that benefits Duke.
Oh wow,
Um,
we tried to get that. Are they trying to bring back the connector? Because I remember they had the connector a while back. 'Cause it brought Duke to downtown, and then they took that away, which some people regretted, and all along those lines. But definitely, I know that my friend Brett was having some meetings because Walltown has been an important part of his history because his mother actually was, I think, born in that area of Walltown, and it's one of those historical areas. And, as you can tell, I'm at Hayti today, and we just showed the film about Grant Street, which is another area that went through a lot of development and has done a lot of things. So they just showed that film last week that the church and other people did, just because that is part of the Black Wall Street community and everything like that. So definitely these communities need to be supported and all of those lines. As you know, I get around by mass transit. Haven't been to Walltown in a minute and everything like that, but I used to live over there, not that far when I lived in the Oaks, and definitely even remember when there was that popular club on Broad Street, and even the Palace when it used to be on Broad Street and everything like that, and even that Italian restaurant that used to be over there. They used to have pizza at when I lived in the Oaks and everything like that. So that area is very important and needs to be more connected, not less connected, and everything like that. Because I'm even thinking about how, historically speaking, the Boys and Girls Club used to be in this neck of the woods. It was actually over there on Pettigrew Street, and now I think they moved all the way over to South Point and everything like that. So just think about how those kids don't really have a outlet for the activities, and that's part of the problem that exists.
I also want to introduce to everybody Jan Cromarty, who is the vice chair, but really the chair of the Housing Committee for the Durham Committee on the Affairs of Black People. And are you riding a bus right
He's
now?
probably he's probably riding the
Yes,
bus, and Jan
yes,
has
I
been
had. I
on.
talked to you guys. I apologize, guys.
No,
My
this
pleasure
is
to be here.
perfect.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
perfect. You are riding a bus. Which route are you on?
Actually, Ms. Adams, I'm on Route 6 downtown. Had some cholesterol pills for my heart, and I went and ate me some good fish on Friday.
Mhm.
And
So,
so, Jan, talk about how important
yes,
the bus is to you.
you took Route 4 and Route 9.
And your Route 6. I mean, how you use the bus to get around, and why having access to 15-minute routes is important.
Yes, ma'am. These 15-minute routes. I think it took about 10 minutes from the transit downtown to get to the VA hospital at the intersection of Urban and Fulton. I really never have a issue. They're pretty efficient. I think there might have to be some modifications done with Route 4 and Route 9. I do not patronize those buses that much. So I'm out here in the public sector, and maybe I should start just for
Well, he's frozen on us,
Yeah,
but
he's frozen. Sometimes the connections aren't that good. But just really quickly, I can jump in there as well because I get
mhm.
around. Matter of fact, I get to Hayti by the bus and everything like that. So the 6 and the 11 are very important routes to me, and all along those lines, as is to some degree the 5 and everything like that. But there are other routes that I might use on occasion.
Are
But
they
the 6 and
15-minute routes,
no,
or are they
right now they're about every 30 minutes and things like that. I
they're
know that if you go
30-minute routes?
downtown and look at the development of what's going on downtown, they say that they'll have a 20-minute a wait, that's the most you'll have is a 20-minute wait and everything like that. And I would say that that's probably on average correct and everything like that. They're doing a lot of rebuilding, and they'll even show you what the new terminal will look like. So if you go down by the terminal, you'll see that the buses are actually on street level right now is where they're loading up, except for the one that's over there by American Tobacco, and that's closer to the parking lot because they have changed the old route and everything like that, and they're doing some serious reconstruction of what the terminal will look like and everything like that. So and I think they're changing the buses also because I think they want to get some more of these hybrid type buses and all along those lines. So they're definitely making some
Right.
changes. I was
All
actually
of
part
that
of
was
the
all of those things were included in that bond referendum,
right. They
and
were.
they use Route 9 as the reason they needed the bond referendum and rode the rails and did commercials and did everything based on how bad Route 9 was. And then that's what they used to get the money to fund the new terminal, to expand the routes from 30 to 15. And I think Route 9 got from an hour to 30 minute
Mhm.
in there, and some sidewalks. But they pimped, I'm just going to say it like that, they pimped Route 9
Mhm.
to
Yep.
get all these transit improvements. And now when it's time, now when the money is there, the timeline, summer of 2026, to improve Route 9 and Route 4, they come up and they say we want to defer it and delay it so that we can have money to do Duke and Holloway Street. I just it just is too much.
Yeah, I agree. It's too much and
I
everything like that. I don't know what.
don't mean to
Go
be
ahead.
rude. My apologies, guys. I lost you for a second there.
No worries. I was just reiterating that they use Route 9 to get the bond passed that's building the new station, that has brought amenities to all these other neighborhoods. They pimped Route 9 to get those bonds passed. And now, right now, when they're supposed to start those improvements in the summer, this summer, they want to delay that and defer it so they have money to work on lines that were not even included in the plan.
Not
We're
only
just
Yes,
that,
not
ma'am.
going to put up with it.
hey, Stella, not only that, and Jan can add to this as well, because I know he's a friend of mine. He's been on my show, a number of those shows and everything like that. But people are not thinking because we got an international audience. Route 9 is actually the route that covers our hospital. So that is one of the great reasons that this route is very important, is that it covers Duke Regional, which is one of our hospitals, and all along those lines. And I know there have been efforts to try to get um, transit to go into other cities like Charlotte, and of course we have TTA that'll get you to Raleigh and Chapel Hill, but they want to get to Charlotte, and they've been talking about this for decades, and that's been on standstill partially because Duke doesn't want it to happen, and all along those lines. So I just wanted y'all's take on that because I've been a big fan of wanting mass transit to those cities, but we can't even get to some of the areas, including those that are near us, like Pittsburgh, because there's not convenient.
Vanessa, talk about the importance of um, Durham Regional Hospital and Route 9 for employees, for the children that go to the academy there, for the people who are ill that are served there. They're having that constant ability to get to their doctor's appointments because it's not just the hospital, but it's all those medical facilities around the hospital that are on Route 9.
Yeah, Route 9 has been very important ever since it was put in place. And Route 9 was put in place because of those things, because of people needing to be able to get downtown at one point in time, as well as get to the hospital. You have your outpatient clinics at Durham Regional. We also have an urgent care that's right there on Roxborough Road across from Durham Regional. So there are several things that people could use as far as getting to the hospital for emergencies, visit other sick patients, or if they need to get there just themselves to get to the hospital because they're sick. I noticed that I see a lot of people sitting at the front of the hospital waiting for the bus, as well as on the side street. It's very important that Route 9 gets better quality timing of 15 minutes. I ride the bus at times, but I can't because of if I have 3 or 4 appointments, there's no way in the world I'm gonna make 4 appointments riding the bus, especially with the timeline. And other people have said the same thing, and they feel the bus is most important because it's not just about the hospital. You got your grocery stores, you got food line, you have the areas where people like to shop, going up and down Roxborough Road, Compare. It's so many different things right here that Route 9 serves. It serves Bluefield, it serves Kerwood, it serves
Georgia Academy.
Yeah, it's and the key as far as the academy, they really need the buses to get back and forth to school. And taking that out, giving them the time frame of 15 minutes, it's really important. They realize that there's so many people that need that 15-minute time frame of getting from one place to another.
Question, Vanessa, Mr. Cromartie. I have a question for you, please. There, the medical facilities that they have right there in the area where Georgia Academy at, because I know there are people, they have a lot of private medical areas back there. I don't know if ear, nose, and throat, but I know there are some back there because I went to be seen by something back there. And then catching that bus, like you stated, right on the Roxborough Road, it'd be seniors that can't make it there, and they have to sit at the bus stops there. I used to work for participatory budgeting for 5-6 months, and I still associate with. So I'm going to speak about that and see if we can work in participatory budgeting with doing if it's feasible for us to use some of our finances to kind of, straighten out some things there that can probably coincide with the transit authority. What I'm saying is, like, I would go out and people need a light. They felt like the sidewalk need to be increased. I have to go out, be sent out, like over there where Roger Harris, they have in James Street, last place I went out, they had needed people on a running route. But I want to make sure that those sidewalks didn't fall up under these people's yards. And I let them know, if you want to go over there and run, go over there to Roger Hare. They got enough running areas over there because you got stoplights that come on around the corner. I'm getting off the subject, but let me get back to Route 4 or Route 9. Those seniors probably can't make it over there if the bus, they don't know that the bus doesn't come right there in front where the bus shuttles are, and they try and be standing out there for setting out there for a long, extended period of time. You see what I'm saying, Vanessa?
Yes, I understand.
Yeah, you did, because you mentioned, what I'm saying is you mentioned that, that people have to go out there and catch that bus right down Roxborough going inbound. I know they ain't going to be coming over there where it's going outbound because they try to cross those streets. And mainly those seniors, that would endanger them trying to get on that bus. Instead of going and inbound, just the same, getting there for those seniors, if they don't already aware that that's where they need to be catching the bus. Because, of course, Route 4 and 9 run differently. Do both 4 and 9 run right up there off of North Duke, where Rose is at, or just one of those buses? Are you one of those routes?
Both of them.
You know that?
Both of them run up by North Duke. What it is, Route 9 runs all throughout Dearborn. It goes through Bluefield, Kerwood, Evergreen, by the Red Maple Park, and it comes on up near Bevan Avenue, and it's on Old Oxford Highway, if I'm correct.
Yeah. Oh, so that bus goes to Old Oxford.
Yeah, it has bus stops over by Oxford Manor Apartments. So it comes up.
I'm aware of that.
It goes back onto Roxborough, and when it goes from Roxborough, it goes up Roxborough by Duke Hospital. It passes it, and it goes down It turns on Horton Road and it goes out toward
Yeah.
Horton Road. It goes further
Yeah,
out.
that's what I was speaking about.
So-
Horton Road. Thank you. I didn't mean to cut you off, Nelson, be rude. But, you know, there was a church over there where Cheryl Brady used to, of course, she's in Texas now. There's some church I went to where she used to be doing some of her ministry before she left here. And I think that's over in the Houghton Road area or somewhere over there. Because I be putting out all these voting signs in different areas. And I do that a lot. But I go in over there Houghton, and heck, I go over there in Oxford, man, at that intersection and things like that. So you say it was the 4 or the 9 that goes by Oxford Manor, or you saying there are both of them that go by Oxford?
No.
The 9 goes by Oxford Manor, but both of them go down Roxborough to the Roses. And
Yes,
then
ma'am. Okay.
the 9 turns down Horton Road.
And
Yeah,
the number 4 keeps straight out to Northern High School.
And
that's right.
So the 9 turns on Horton Road, and the 4 goes down to the new Northern High School. But one of the things that you all talked about, I do want to take a minute to one of the biggest advocates we had for transit, especially paratransit for the elderly, was Marie Hill Faison. And she passed a couple of weeks ago.
Wow.
And that is a tremendous loss to the community, particularly to the people who were blind and deaf and hard of hearing, because she picked them up and made sure that they got to their appointments on time. But the paratransit system upgrades are also important. We can't, and she fought so hard for that. So, and she was so caring and loving to the people that she picked up and helped get to their meetings and appointments on time. But the paratransit system is just, it needs major overhaul and improvement, along with, but we are not going back. We won this fight. We won this money. We fought for this money. What did you say? It was our right, Vanessa.
It's rightfully ours. So give us what's rightfully ours.
It's rightfully ours. And so I want to make sure that we honor that. We're going to keep this on the front burner until we see them make the change to that route this summer. This is not going away. This will, those who watch my podcast know that we did a Target update weekly until the goals of the major goals were accomplished. We still keep tabs on it. It's still underwater. We're still doing the thing. Nobody's going back. But we're gonna,
excuse me, Mark. Is this
No,
the
no,
next
say
tell,
something.
Mark? Just a moment. I don't want to be rude, but I am. I forgot to tell you that Commissioner Valentine is my good friend, and I sent him that information that you sent me, and he tried to connect with you. He said he called, and he was going to be going into details about that Steve was. So it's good that I recall that, because I just talked to Steve this morning, cutting up, and he said he reached out to you, but he said he understands that, you know, you have different days where you up to things and everything. Because I asked him, I said, did Mr. Adams ever reach back out to you?
Look, he followed up because Ellen Beckman sure sent some emails out saying it won't the county. Didn't she, Vanessa?
Yes, she did. Of course, that's that blame game. We're going around in circles again.
Speaking of the blame
Okay.
game and everything like that, just really quickly, and I'd love to hear both of y'all's thoughts around this because I kind of mentioned it in the chat, but I know transportation is big, but one of the groups that uses transportation quite often is the folks that are without homes, the homeless population and everything like that. And I just saw that there was a recent bust up of one of the homeless encampments here in Durham, North Carolina, and I think that took place recently. So I just wanted y'all's thoughts around that because I mean these folks need some place to stay, and for them to be busting that up Gestapo wise, I think is very unfair. But I was wondering y'all's thoughts on that and everything
That
like
was
that.
that was the second one. That was the second part that they rated. My thing is, I'm against it. I feel police officers should be out here dealing with bigger and more deeper crime than people being homeless and talking about they had guns. Well, my thing is, if I'm homeless, I'm out in the environment. I don't know who might roll up on me. I
Right.
feel like I got a right as a citizen. If I'm
That's
if I'm
right.
if I got the right carry and seal, I got a right to carry my concealed weapon. As long as I'm out here pointing at
Vanessa,
nobody,
don't
shooting
stop.
at nobody with it, that's my right to have my gun on me. I mean, because I got to be
Yes, ma'am.
protected. Whether I'm in a house or living in the woods, living in a tent, I'm gonna try to protect myself. What we supposed to do? Go around with bow and arrows, shooting at people? Come on, let's be real. We got people out here killing each other. That the
Unfortunately.
police need to be working with, not harming and hurting people who are already hurting. Um, yeah, so my thing with the homeless people, you have to ride the bus, that they're making sure they're going into the library, they have to go through the detector systems. And a lot of them have bags with them because they're carrying all their personal items with them wherever they go. So Durham has changed so much. I at one time we never had homelessness.
We
And
didn't
if
have
you
homeless, and we didn't have as many people.
I mean, I never saw them being homeless, but now you have homeless people, and they pushed them from downtown all the way out here to Bragtown. Everywhere I look, we got
Displacement.
encampments in parks. We got encampments on side streets where people are living in their Winnebagos or their SUVs. So this is something that needs to be
And
fixed.
what choice do you have if you have a $7.15 job an hour? Even
Yeah,
if
the
you work 40 hours a week at $7.15 or 25 cents, whatever it is,
yeah,
even if
whatever.
you work 40-hour a week, you can't afford a room in a rooming house.
No, the minimum wage has not changed in decades, and I agree with y'all on that notice and everything. And as you know, I live near, and Jan knows this is where I live near Duke, and there are homeless encampments right there by Duke, right there near the restaurants. I mean, there's a couple of homeless encampments. They basically they're encampments that are right there by between those two gas stations. I don't. They may not call them encampments, but they're basically might as well be encampments because those guys are on the stoops and hanging out there until well late until the late hours. And they might have some other place that they go hide out when it gets super late, like after midnight and everything like that. But they are there for hours and everything like that. And I was actually on the bus earlier today. And I mean, we've also got a serious issue with people that are facing different mental illnesses as well. Because there was a woman that was singing and she was clearly having issues around schizophrenia and other things that are going on. And there were people that were giving her a hard time and everything like that. And I'm not saying that she doesn't need to get the proper medications, but we also need to respect those folks that are going through whatever those issues are and everything like that. Because, like I said, there was a lot of people that were giving her a hard time as I was coming here to this job. So this was probably like 9:30 this morning, and she was clearly having some mental health issues. But I don't know that we're dealing enough to address the mental health of our fellow citizens and all along those lines. As you know, Jan, there are
Respect
some people in
and
the veteran
respect
society
and
that are not
dignity
getting
do
the
not
treatment they
talk.
need.
To give someone respect and dignity does not cost you anything.
Exactly.
It
One
to
thing is, if you're not going to help them,
ex-
if you're not going to help them, don't complain. Don't harass people when they're
Right.
going through something. If you're not there to help, find someone else who may want to help them. And if you can't help them, just keep it moving. Stop being in everybody's business. Everybody's
Exactly.
business ain't your business. That's the
Exactly.
problem with people.
Now, touch up. I want to touch a point here that I appreciate you guys bringing up. Like with myself, Catherine Zeta Jones, I'm just naming a few, and Ryan Carey. I suffer from a mental disability from the United States Navy, but I take good medication and I exercise and I'm active and cardio. So things may not affect me as much as they would affect others. But like Mark was saying, right here at North Duke and Moorhead near J. Henderson, there are people that got tents out there, big tents, off in Rayner Street. where I was at handing out some hot dogs with people behind the King Street place. These people, I think, like building houses, they got nice big tents, but that doesn't have to be. So I can relate in some ways outside of being homeless with the disability because I'm seen for certain things at the VA from time to time.
Hey, Stella, it only takes 1 minute to be homeless and everything. I think I've mentioned on this show one
Yeah.
time and everything like that that I got, and this was decades ago. I got evicted one time. I mentioned the Oaks when I was there and everything like that. Fortunately, I knew a church. I knew the nature of that church and everything like that. So I spent a day, 1 day, and that was enough for me and everything like that in a homeless, like the homeless shelter that exists in downtown. And I definitely spent like a day and a half in the, housing, being unhoused for a minute and everything like that. So that was just a matter of not having the rent and not being able to, at that particular time, get in touch with the parents and those folks that were in my community and everything like that. So, like I said, I was only unhoused for like a day or two. I can only imagine what it's like to be unhoused for years on end and everything like that. Because I know just in the little short time that I had before I could get in touch with my people and rectify the situation, that it was hardship on me. Then this was, like I said, almost probably a decade and a half ago and everything like that. But just that little brief
Mhm.
experience taught me
We
to
have
have
so
empathy,
many people.
to have empathy for people.
We have so
Yes.
many people in our community who are unhoused or that don't think they're unhoused because they're couch hopping.
Hmm.
They're
Yep.
sleeping, they're sharing space with friends because they don't have anywhere to go. They're living in people's basements.
Yeah.
If we count them amongst the unhoused, the number high, is
Stella,
higher.
the number is ridiculous if you count them because I know just in my own situation, I have provided housing, not in the current apartment. I think maybe one person stayed at that apartment, but there's been at least two or three people that have stayed in the apartment complex that I'm at with me because of what you're just describing. They were not able to get into their house for whatever reasons, or they were traveling from point A to point B, so they were unhoused for a minute. So I know that I've done that for
Transition of
three friends of mine
transition of
where I have
period.
let them do that whole couch surfing that you're putting in. There are a number of people that do that. They have friends or acquaintances that will let them crash on the floor and everything like that. Because I know I've done that for at least three of my friends, maybe even four.
I
Yeah,
was
I
gonna
Yeah,
say,
mean,
too.
I was
and
gonna say
and there
too.
are also people who are living in cars because and they have gym memberships so they can take a shower and change clothes and go to work, but they're living out of their cars. We don't know the circumstances of the people we work with every day. We don't know the circumstances that people are facing. But it does not hurt us to be compassionate, to be respectful when you see someone, to be respectful, and to be and to acknowledge their humanity and their dignity, and that doesn't cost us anything to do that. And
It's
so
rare.
and all of us go through crises, but if we just have a little compassion and respect for our fellow men and women, we could improve the world so much.
And that's what I'm
I
about.
want You certainly are, Jan. And
Yeah.
I want to say this to Vanessa and Jan, and especially to you, Jan. You all are welcome to join me as guests on the podcast at your leisure. We The podcast is every Friday from noon to 1. If I'm on the road, Thomas or William might host, and if I'm not on the road, if there's an emergency, it's scheduled for Saturdays at 2. But
You can reach it.
you're
Also,
more
guys,
than okay.
oh,
Um,
sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize.
no worries. But you're all welcome um, to join me on the podcast. Vanessa, we're going to stay on this until if we get updates, I'm going to have you come and do at least a 10-minute weekly update on what's going on, who we need to talk to, who we need to fight. For my guests, if you look down, you will see the email address for the city council only at durhamnc.gov. Send them an email telling them not to delay the improvements on Route 4 and Route 9.
I don't have an issue. You know, I don't have an issue with that since I've had those get-togethers with the neighborhood people. We have built up a great relationship. But this is why I wanted to touch base, Vanessa, with you as well as Mark. Commissioner Valentine is a statesman, and he doesn't mind reaching out to you guys. I'm going to ask him if I can send his number to Stella and see if she could be able to, you know, transfer that number to maybe you or Mark or either both of you, because he would get right back to you. And we only have a few like Valentine on the city council and the board of commissioners. He's very rare, very.
He is.
We go to church each Sunday.
And Jan,
Yes, ma'am.
ask him to be on my show. Ask him to be on my show in May.
I will make sure.
Get him to come on the show.
I will do that, because he know I'll nag him. Because he be nagging
I know,
me.
that's why I'm telling you to do it.
Yeah. Oh, he'll get on me, try to be a smart aleck.
Thank y'all so much for joining me this week. And Vanessa and Jan and Mark, well, Mark, you always in. But Jan and Vanessa, join me anytime. I will be sending you all links for our shows in May. To my listeners and watchers, you saw a new opening. I have to fine tune it a little bit, but I do have a new intro to the show. I think the background music was too loud, so next week I'm gonna have the background music lower, so that when we're recording, you can hear the intro. So I've got a new intro. I don't have new music yet. Hint, hint to my nephew-in-law, who's supposed to be doing the original composition for me. But thank y'all so much.
Stella.
Yeah.
Briefly, I'm gonna let you guys know, Vanessa and Mark. Tomorrow, Stella, TC, Leah, Miss Beasley, some people within the committee, we will be attending a banquet. It's free at Washington Duke Inn. I think regardless of whether you have tickets, we will be attending that. It's about the urban ministries there. And briefly, I take this as a joke because Mark is a Marquette graduate and Stella is a Carolina graduate. So I always bragging about how Carolina dragged Marquette. So I want you to be mindful of that, Mark.
Let's not forget who won the championship.
I lived in Milwaukee.
Look, I don't even know why he bringing that up. I still have nightmares about that brilliant four-corner move that Dean Smith did that the referee didn't catch.
When they play Marquette,
saved us the game, but I still have nightmares. I can still, when you say Marquette, that picture, that foul at the baseline still pops in my head. That's the only thing I know about Marquette.
That was Butch Lee and Bo Ellis and Butch Lee and Al McGuire.
Don't. I have PTSD. About that. Can't do
If it ain't called, it don't count. That's my rule about sports.
See.
Hey, my pleasure.
I'm gonna remember that if it ain't called, it don't count.
That's
and
right.
and if it ain't rubbing, it ain't racing, right?
But
All right,
hopefully you
now.
all can make that tomorrow, Vanessa and Mark. If you all wish to come over to Washington Duquesne at the gala, I'm sure there are tickets that are available and they are free.
What
All
time is
right.
that? I think I've got to work at Haytime.
Well,
So
what that gala is tomorrow, I think at 6, isn't it, Stella?
It's 6 o'clock tomorrow.
so if it's 6 in the evening,
Yeah.
I might be able to make that because I got to work till 4. But I might be able to make it if it's at 6 in the evening. So yeah, I'll see about
All
All right.
right. Well,
me coming to
thank
that.
y'all so much.
Thank-
I want to
thank you.
thank you all my Facebook friends for your likes and subscribes. I apparently have reached star level, so I'm like really excited about that.
You're a rare breed, Stella.
And I want to thank all of my
Oh, yeah, rare breed.
YouTube and this and LinkedIn listeners and subscribers as well. Thank y'all so much, and remember,
Stella, before you hit the end button, I was going to tell you because we turn some of these into clips and everything like that. So you also get views and sometimes massive views from TikTok and Instagram. So you also have users from TikTok and Instagram because after the show, I turn those into clips and those clips are then aired on the network and everything like that. But they also go to those sites. So you do have viewers that are watching in both TikTok and Instagram.
I didn't know.
Greatly appreciate it, Mark.
TikToker. Oh, get out.
Greatly
So-
appreciate it, Mark.
Yep.
So join me this time, 12 noon next Friday for another edition of Doing Justice Brings Joy. And this week, I want to thank our guests, Vanessa Evans, Jan Cromarty, for joining me and Mark on the show this week. And we look forward to your continued participation in the future.
All right.
And with
Thank
that,
you.
Thank you.
keep putting it on the line for Route 9.
Okay.